Hey there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Angelica here, and if you're new, come in, have a seat, have several seats. If you're not new, thank you for having me once again all up on your screen. So this is like the third time I've tried to film this video, but each time I just go off on a tangent. So this video I'm making in order to discuss something that's very dear to my heart, something that I was very nervous about speaking on, but I think it's necessary because there might be someone else who feels exactly the same way that I do. A lot of people are starting to have an epiphany. Things are clicking finally. This has been a long time coming. A lot of what I'm feeling right now is a result of things building up over the past couple of years, and me just noticing patterns, me just noticing, that something sick is going on, something beyond what we see on the surface is happening. And before, I used to consider myself to be a moderate. I've never really identified with liberal politics. It doesn't really appeal to me, that social justice activism and just craziness doesn't appeal to me. But I consider myself to be a moderate before. But I'm at a point where I don't want anyone to think that I have anything in common with liberals. I don't want any speck of doubt. I am coming out as a conservative. And I think this is very important for me to do that, because when people view someone like me as like the embodiment of social mobility, they assume that I'm going to think a certain way, I'm going to believe certain things, but I realize that the prejudgment of people who look like me is so harmful, and I want to get rid of that. I want people who look like me to be able to think whatever they want to think. I'm at a point where I've realized that I have been engaging in a lot of idealism, especially as a young person. That's very normal. Young people are more likely to, have like romanticized view of the world. I've never been one of those people, by the way, who would want to like dismantle everything we know to be true and get rid of definitions, get rid of boundaries. I don't believe in any of that, but I understand and I sympathize with the people who do. However, it's getting ridiculous at this point, and if it took me becoming conservative, I know that there are so many people who've been asking questions like, what is going on? If you have been alive over the past 3 weeks and you weren't living under a rock, then you will have known about the social justice activism going on, the rioting, the protesting, the kneeling and all of that stuff that's happening, the taking down of statues. It's funny because the more I saw, the more I wanted to get away from what I was seeing. The more liberals show themselves to be who they really are, the more conservative I've become. I am getting sick of the weaponization of my identity as a black person. I'm getting sick of people assuming that I have to think a certain way because of the way I look. I'm getting sick of people turning people like me into single issue voters. What is the easiest way to control someone? It's to know their biggest fear. If you know what someone fears the most, you literally can control them in the most efficient way. And I think that's what's going on when it comes to black people. Our biggest fear is racism. That's so obvious. It's been proven so often that we get so emotional. The slightest thing that rubs us the wrong way, we put racism on everything. We call everything racism nowadays, and we race bait. I'm not even gonna lie, it used to really annoy me when people used to accuse us of doing that. But the more I actually had like an objective viewpoint, the more I realized, yeah, this is actually true. There's a lot of race baiting. It's quite exhausting. I feel free to be a conservative. I feel liberated. I feel unburdened. I feel like I can finally take control of my life. I feel like I am the author of my own destiny, and I feel limitless in a way that I never felt when I used to identify as a moderate. I'm tired of people making it seem like my melanin is like something that makes me incapacitated. Like, I don't want to feel like I am disabled because I am black. Like, I don't like that feeling anymore. I understand that there were good intentions, but it's gotten to a point that it's actually turned into bigotry of low expectations. So what this basically means is people don't think that you're able to do something because you're black. People don't expect black people to be able to go to top universities, so they want to lower the grades down and, you know, let us in and cut corners. That is the bigotry of low expectations, and also the policing of my thoughts as a black person, telling me that I'm a sellout if I don't think how you think. That is actually racism. That's the remix of like the savior complex. I've seen so many non-black people be racist to black conservatives. So you're basically trying to save a black person from racism by being racist yourself. I've also realized that there's a lot of people that don't really care about facts. There's people that just want to blame other people for everything that's gone on in their life. The political leaders have come out to say that factual correctness doesn't matter. You don't have to be factually correct if you're morally correct. Like, what does that even mean? Symbolism and emotions are allowed to rule how we behave as individuals. That doesn't really sit with me. I've realized that a lot of the groups that claim to stand for the rights of marginalized people don't really care about us. So for instance, Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter doesn't care about me. Black Lives Matter does not care about black women. That is a fact, and there's so much evidence to prove this. Asking for the police to be abolished. No one who cares about black women would ever ask such a thing. Black Lives Matter doesn't really bring awareness to issues faced by black women. They don't really care. We're not centered in the movement. In the United States, for instance, a black woman is killed every 19 hours. Do you ever hear of that news? And black women are usually killed by people who look like us. You don't hear them screaming the names of women who are dying. These movements are being hijacked, and there's actually something else going on beneath the surface. There are mainstream platforms weaponizing my image as a black woman and defacing my image. It's not uplifting to have to see myself and my image be weaponized as the face of social justice. I've never seen so many magazines make black women the front cover in a very long time. Like, they rarely ever show black women enjoying their lives. I live an abundant life outside of YouTube. I take myself to the spa. I love going to fancy dinners. I go to balls, to galas. I go to the theatre. I enjoy my life outside of YouTube. They don't ever show people like me living normal lives. They only ever show us when it's time for them to depict a race soldier, depict a disheveled race soldier who fights for everyone, a workhorse. They want to see people like me with our fists up, screaming. They want us to be the face of destruction and social justice, and that doesn't really sit well with me. It doesn't sit well with me at all, because they are stripping people like me of our femininity and our normality. They literally want us to base our whole existence based on race. They want us to live our entire lives literally thinking that I will never be able to achieve what I can achieve because of my race. I need help from the government because of my race. I need social assistance because of my race, and it just gets a bit tiring. It's not liberating for me to live my entire life feeling like other people are prejudging me, and also prejudging other people just because they happen to have less melanin than I do. I don't know what other people think. I don't think it's fair to put blanket statements on other people and to live my life in the past. I'm at a point where I feel most empowered by conservative ideals. I realized that a lot of my life I've lived according to conservative politics. Like, I believe in personal responsibility, self-reliance. I've invested in the stock market. Like, that's free market. So many things that conservatives believe in, I've been living. I feel like I can finally just live as a human being, and I can explore the true depth of my character outside of, you know, just being the colour that I am. I believe in order. I believe in strategy as well. I don't believe that screaming and making noise and telling people to kneel, I don't think that's a solution. I think if a population of people only know how to scream and make noise and burn things down when they want their voices to be heard, they are powerless. They are not a powerful group of people. I believe in economic power. I also believe that there's a difference between handouts and a hand up. I appreciate a hand up, but I don't appreciate a handout, because it leads to a culture of reliance on other people to help you, and it doesn't really encourage you to be accountable for the part you've played in getting yourself where you are, and what else you could do to improve your circumstances. My scholarship has enabled me to study at an incredible institution. A handout in the situation would have been for someone to literally just give me my degree, just give me the certificate and tell me, oh no, you don't have to actually like study, like just take this, like here you go. Like that's a handout. My scholarship is a hand up. I think there's a massive difference between those two things. I believe in, calling out like when things are bad. I don't believe in identity politics. I don't believe in calling something an ism just because you don't agree. I don't believe in no platforming either. I don't believe in silencing people and calling them names just because they think something different from what you think. I'm just at a point where I just want people to prioritize logic at this point. I really don't like the stereotype that only like the elderly are conservatives, or actually young people are conservative, but I guess you are more likely to be liberal when you're young because you're full of idealism and romanticism, but at some point you have to start seeing the world for what it is and stop letting yourself be used. I am so happy to be on the right side of history. Once your eyes open, you will never like go blind ever again. Like you will never not see what's going on for what it is. I just want to make this video for anyone who might be thinking along the same line, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks, bye.